Before we begin our program today, and if you've been thinking about joining us to see the first manned SpaceX launch, well, just listen and take $100 off per couple. Just send me an email with a 2-word code I'll give you during our program today.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
This is About Space, America's return to space, with news and information on our U.S. space program. Is your host of About Space, David Denal.
Welcome, and thanks for joining me today in our continuing series, Return to the Moon to Stay. Well, for the first time in a generation, NASA is building a human spacecraft for deep space missions that will truly usher in a new era of space exploration. And today we'll go inside the Orion spacecraft. And to give you an idea, Orion is like a gumdrop-shaped capsule and service module, which together are about 26 feet long and a diameter of about 16.5 feet. Now, what is impressive is the spacecraft's habitable volume of 316 cubic feet. That's about 9 cubic meters. And that's about 1.5 times larger than the Apollo spacecraft. But what makes Orion unique? Our Washington Bureau Chief Rick Podluck will join us next on About Space Today. Are you ready to fly away on a dream vacation? For cruises and all-inclusive resort vacations, call D&D Cruise and Tours at 877-747-8631. That's 877-747-8631. And see us on Facebook, D&D Cruise and Tours, where your dreams become a reality. Here's how you can save $100 off per couple for our tour and launch package. Send us an email at info@aboutspace.today with code MyReservation, along with your name and a telephone contact number. Again, send us an email to save $100 off our tour and launch package. Send that to info@aboutspace.today with code MyReservation, along with your name and a telephone contact number. And for those who have already registered, we're going to give you that same $100 credit. So join us to see the first American astronauts launched on American rockets from American soil in almost a decade. Welcome back. With more about the Orion spacecraft from our Washington Bureau is Rick Podluck.
David, in the next months and years, About Space Today will be spending some time giving our listeners some insight into the Artemis program, America's return to the moon, set for sometime in 2024. In this episode, Mark Karasich, NASA's Deputy Program Manager of the Orion Multi-Crew Vehicle, will introduce us to the Orion, while Cleon Lacefield, the Vice President and Program Manager of Orion at Lockheed Martin Space Systems, will tell us what makes Orion so unique. First up is Mark Karasich.
The Space Shuttle, which was an incredible vehicle and could do many, many different jobs, was limited in where it could go to low Earth orbit. So missions from about 150 to 300 miles above our Earth's surface. And we were always in the proximity of the Earth. What the Orion program is going to do, along with our sister program, the Space Launch System, it's going to allow humans to once again travel beyond low Earth orbit and explore farther out destinations. For example, we could return to the moon. We can explore asteroids. And eventually we'll build up the capabilities that will allow humans to travel to other planets such as Mars. Since it has to fly beyond low Earth orbit, and it also has to allow humans to live and work and survive for longer durations, the durations that it's going to take to get to these further destinations, it drives a number of different systems, and there are a number of different challenges. For example, in low Earth orbit, the radiation environment is less because the Earth's atmosphere shields some of the radiation events. once we travel beyond low Earth orbit, the crew will be exposed to larger amounts of radiation. So we have to design both the crew protection systems and our electronic systems to withstand this radiation. The spacecraft's life support system has to be able to work and to keep the crew alive for longer durations than the shorter low Earth orbit missions. And because we're flying so far away, and it will take longer to both get there and return home, the spacecraft has to be more robust to make sure that the crew can return safely.
Next is Cleon Lacefield.
I think we explore because it is a challenge, and we always go after challenges, and the challenges always bring us to the next level. If you want to see past low Earth orbit and you want to see what is out there, and to me, the moon is still extremely interesting to me, and I hope that we can go back to the moon. I would like to see the moons of Mars, and use a stepping stone approach to explore, our solar system. To me, that's excitement. What Orion is a deep space spacecraft, state of the art. It's meant to be in space for months to years, and it has all of these systems in it to protect the crew while they're in this exploration mode. And when we say protect the crew, let me give you an example. If you're on the other side of the moon and you have a hole in the cabin and one of your main thrusters doesn't work, we still get you back. If you have most of your computers go down, we can use a processor and we still get you back. It's being able to develop a system that looks after the crew so that they can enjoy the exploration experience without having to worry about what is the jeopardy that they're in, when they're away from their families. And I think looking at it from that angle, really trying to solve the crew safety issues so that then they can concentrate on the exploration side of things and not worry about the safety side of things is what Orion is about. So it can have durations as low as 20 days in a lunar environment to several years in a Mars environment. That's why we call it a multi-purpose crew vehicle. And it's state-of-the-art stuff that won't be just used on Orion, but it'll be used by the rest of the country on driving the technologies for the systems that we use every day.
Reporting from the Washington News Bureau, I'm Rick Potlock.
And stand by for my special announcement.
50 years ago, we pioneered a path to the moon. The trail we blazed cut through the fictions of science and showed us all what was possible.
It's very pretty out here.
We're going.
We are going.
We are going.
We're going.
Are you going? To join us to be among the first to witness American astronauts to be launched from American soil on American rockets from the Kennedy Space Center. We are taking reservations.
Yes, we are taking reservations, and I hope that each of you could join us to see the first manned launch of SpaceX Dragon. A deposit of just $25 per person will guarantee your reservation. For details, see us on Facebook, aboutspace.today. Thank you for joining me today, and be sure to share our program with your family and friends. And join me next week when our series of Return to the Moon to Stay continues. I'm David Denault, and this has been About Space Today.